Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of the Gohndim and Gilmore show. Tonight, we are joined by the magnanimous, scratch that, the great KafkaEsquire. Kafka, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hey everyone, KafkaEsquire. I'm a chatter from DGG that danced on the ashes of the bridge between Pisco and Destiny and took his spot. I wear his face on stream, and go on and talk about boring legal stuff there. I also kind of like show up in some other people's streams now and then, hang out in the bunker, and generally just kind of trip over my dick through legal arguments in different discords.
Wait, just real quickly, Kafka, before we get into it. Is it true that you were once a paralegal under Zipzip?
Yes. Yeah, no, it was a really tough time in my life, but if it weren't for Zipzip hiring me to be his paralegal, I just don't think I'd be where I am today. Like, man, what a guy. I truly, probably the best amongst us, if I have to say anything. And all the hate he receives online, entirely unfair. But I'm not willing to defend him against the charges of being the new Jew stalker.
Yeah, Zipzip, we love you here at the bunker. I think everyone that calls you a tailpipe fucker is just out of line, and we'll ban them from the bunker. So we love you. But we're not going to talk about boring legal topics tonight. We're only talking about the most interesting legal topics. And starting off with Kafka, who do you think is the worst lawyer streamer? There's so many to pick from, but we want to know who your kind of Mount Rushmore of terrible lawyer streamers are.
Yeah, I've got kind of a list from this is worst streamer in the sense of like if they are on the stream, I'm upset and don't want to watch it. So that's like how I'm saying like worst lawyer streamers. Number one for me is Good Logic. I fucking hate anytime I see his fucking face on stream. It is so annoying to listen to that guy talk, and he makes really bad arguments. Lauren De Laguna, I actually really find her really annoying. It's funny because like before everything happened, anytime I saw her on stream, I also just was like, man, I really don't like this person. And then like Christmas happened for me, and everybody else started to hate her too. So that was really great. Then Rakita Law, that guy's just got way too much smugness, and he got everything that was coming to him for wearing that Sonichu medallion. Glad he wore it. Glad it fucked his life over. Ryan Mullally, this is actually like he's recently started climbing the charts. When I first saw him, I was like, he's not that bad. Recently, just really difficult to sit through anything that he puts up there. I've got Lactoid up here, which is kind of unfair because honestly, when Lactoid is on stream, like he himself is not great, but like man, is he a great punching bag? And it's just like every time he is on stream, I'm really enjoying watching it. But he himself, I don't really like him very much. Also, he and I did do a debate on Wick TV, and then he got upset with me about how that went and insulted me. And then I believe he's blocked me at this point, but he like came into the Discord, just insulted me right there, and then left and I believe blocked me, which is really funny. And then last one, I'm going to put Legal Mindset, just because I'm pretty sure I have to put him on here because he's probably like
Is that the guy that abandoned the Destiny debate? I always forget who that one is.
I thought Legal Mindset's the passport bro.
Yeah. Oh, he's the sex tourist. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so like I feel like if I don't include him on the list, I'm kind of tacitly saying that I approve of his behavior, which I don't.
All right, so yeah. That's a good list. You took a lot of mine, so I also go through my list in order. But so what I have number one was Andrew Branca, who was the person you're referring to, Gohndim, who tapped out of the debate after being asked to answer a question, which was very funny and very soy. Number two is Good Logic, who you mentioned before. Although he is from my neck of the woods, unfortunately, I can't really stand what he says. Number three for me is Legal Mindset, who you also mentioned.
Wow.
Number four is Viva Frey, although I did kind of enjoy his last conversation with Pisco, but I really can't stand that guy at all. Number five, I wish he wasn't on the list, but I have to put it on here only because it makes me
don't say myself. Don't say it.
Well, no, it's Mullally. It's not.
Oh, okay.
You know. And then number six, obviously, Mike from the bunker.
Yeah, I'm putting him back on. I'm putting him on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, he's number 2 on my list. I think Good Logic is probably the most insufferable to listen to. As little content as I consume, the guy is just so fucking retarded. He's so stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like I think everybody on this list is like bad faith to some degree, but that guy is easily the most just like, I am on screen, I'm gonna just say words into the camera, and then just default to saying I'm a lawyer. Like it's insane how dumb the stuff he says is. Because like Ryan Mullally, it's like, yeah, this stuff is like what he's saying right now is fucking retarded. But like, okay, whatever. I guess there is some like legal school of thought that might lead you to that conclusion. Like it's still stupid, but I guess Good Logic. I can't understand what like where his arguments are going, where he's starting from or ending. Just it's.
I don't think he knows is the problem most of the time. Just on Lactoid too, like I actually kind of like talking to Lactoid when I used to be in the Discord, but given the fact that he defends like corpse fucking, it's just hard to like get over. It's hard to take someone seriously when they, passionately argue for having sex with corpses. I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Oh, I think my corpse fucking like screwing over corporations, but now I understand why you don't like it.
No, corpse
fucking. Yeah. No, I found Lactoid interesting to me just because it was like. With like for me, I try very hard. Like I'm sure y'all have seen it. Like I might make strong statements or make an argument or something, but if I'm wrong, I'll just like admit it. Like, oh yeah, I was wrong there. Like thanks for educating me or whatever, right? Like, but like the me watching Lactoid in just like real time, just getting like straight up corrected on something and then doubling down on it and just never giving ground, and it's just like, whew, what the like. And I know all of these people do it, but I saw Lactoid do it like 2 or 3 times in a row. That was just like really uncomfortable, or just like factually wrong. And I was like, oh man, buddy, like you gotta fix that. You gotta stop doing that. It's just painful.
And just before we move on, shout out to the best lawyers on Twitch: number 1 Lecture Fan and number 2 Bostiet. Gilmore has a statement. He says that courts shouldn't factor in the potential impact on society. Gilmore, what do you mean by that?
All right, so this is a bugaboo of mine, that I don't think that courts, judges, whoever's making determinations in these cases should factor in what the actual influence on their decisions will be on society or even the parties at hand. They should only focus on the law, the facts, and that's it. Nothing else.
Well, okay, 1 second. You don't mean that. You believe that the judges should take into account whether or not the like decision provides relief to the parties.
Well, only if it's like legally, if it's under the law, they're entitled to relief, and under the facts, they're entitled to relief. Then yes. But if it's just like, I feel bad for this person.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're not like no sympathy. Like, okay, let me ask you this. Let's say we're in an area where there's like it's a gray area. Maybe the law is like silent on something. But there is a problem and it needs to be resolved. And do you think in that sense that courts should not say, well, let's use this maybe as one channel of analysis, right? Like, yeah, like, okay, nobody's really talked about this, but let's just like look at what's public sentiment about this? Like, you don't think that should factor in at all there either?
Not unless it's somehow part of the standard in like prior precedent or something like that, then maybe. But outside of that, no.
See, for me, it's like I'm actually so this is sometimes referred to as public policy, and I'm actually a really big fan of it. I really like it a lot. I think it's more of a just like one form of analysis amongst many that you can use. I don't think it should be like an overriding one or like should be applied every time. But I actually really like public policy in a lot of ways where it's like, all right, like literally nobody wants us to do this thing. Let's not do this. But literally everybody doesn't give a shit. Let's just do it. Or, you know what? We see, how while there might be a public sentiment aspect, there's also a like, I usually see a public policy argument of here's public sentiment, and also here's like a reason for why it's good for society. I think it's pretty rare for it just to be purely public sentiment. But I think that I will say this though, any opinion that the Supreme Court lays down that relies on public policy should, 1, be more vulnerable to being overturned and replaced in the future, and 2, should be entirely vulnerable to being superseded by legislative action, right? So like let's say like the Supreme Court came out and was like, oh, public policy, we're going to let gay people get married, and then the legislature comes out and goes, no, we're going to pass a law that says gay people can't get married. To me, in that scenario, it's like, oh, okay, well, like the Supreme Court no longer can say that there's a public policy, like there's public sentiment for gay people to get married, because the people voted, elected a Congress, and then that Congress said gay people can't get married. So what's the legal argument for the judges to say there's some kind of overriding public sentiment, right? But I think that there's room for it. However, I think I would be like I think for me there's room for it, but I don't think I would cry if like they got rid of it entirely, right? Like, I don't know how much harm there would be to the system. Let me ask you this, Gilmore. Do you think that like a gridlocked or like a poorly ran legislature would like necessitate some more of like judicial action there, or do you think that like the judiciary should just totally ignore any of that?
I think that by doing it the way I'm proposing would kind of hopefully wake up the legislature to actually change laws or make rules that actually matter here. I think it's comical in today's society to hope that or believe that Congress has a way of doing that. But at least hopefully on the local level, they'd be able to actually pass laws that deal with the issues at hand. So that's kind of my pipe dream here.
No, I think that's probably the strongest argument, right? Like it's kind of a thing where it's like it's hard. It's really easy for me and for a lot of people to say like, well, the courts could fix it and they could do this. And it's like, yeah, like technically they can, but like now we're just like letting one branch of the government abdicate its responsibilities, and the other one is going to pick them up and do it in a really shitty way that isn't very well, like doesn't have a lot of great oversight, doesn't have a lot of great checks and balances against it. Meanwhile, like then this other side there's no punishment for abdicating that responsibility. So like, I think that's probably the strongest argument in a kind of like big picture thing. But at the same time, like, I don't know, real people are hurting, and like, I do think there are matters of public sentiment that like probably should have already been fixed, and the court's going like, yeah, fuck this, like we're gonna just come in here and make sure people aren't getting hurt. That being said, to then like, I think oh wait, I think this is what they should do. Anytime there's like a public policy decision like that, it should be required that it only lasts like 5 years or something. So then people get this like really, oh wow, we love this. This is great. We love this decision because it's done the thing that we want to do. And then in 5 years, it's just done. And now they don't have it anymore. So then like the public then loses that thing that they like. So they push their legislatures to pass a law for it. That's what they should do.
Okay, I could see that.
You get a little taste. You get a little bit of gay marriage as a treat. And then if you really want it, you got to do the hard work.
Gilmore, just to summarize, your ideal system has fewer radical leftist activist judges.
Yeah, of course.
That's the judges who are legislating from the bench right now.
Yeah, and Kafka. I'll give you a really egregious example that has been going around my mind for a while. Yeah. So I'm assuming it's the same in your jurisdiction, but if you don't assert an affirmative defense in your answer, it's waived, right?
Yeah.
One example of an affirmative defense is a statute of limitations.
Oh, I believe in my jurisdiction. Let me think. No, yeah, that was also waived. I was thinking of something else.
So let's say there's a statute of limitations of like 1 year for a defamation claim. And someone brings a lawsuit against person A brings a lawsuit against person B for defamation that happened 30 years ago. Person B defaults, doesn't answer, and person A gets a default judgment against B. Do you think the court should, on its own, be like, hey, this is way before the statute of limitations. We're not letting you proceed with the case?
Okay. There's like, if we're talking ideal world, yes. I think that this is we're getting a little bit into like how the legal system should change. But I think there's a lot of these procedural and operational things within the way that lawsuits work that should no longer be adversarial, right? Like a statute of limitations, things like that. Like, I don't even know, like you could literally set it up so that when you file the claim, you have to like enter the statute of limitations of your claim.
Sure.
Right. Like to me, I think that there are a huge amount of our legal process that could happen, and it would make it where everybody benefits. The dockets would go quicker. Lawyers wouldn't have to be doing as much bullshit work. The clients wouldn't be paying as much and stuff like that. And like, I do not see any. And the deal is let's say the system fucks up. Okay, great. That's the time whenever we can file some motions or something, right? Like, I would way rather us have a system like that be efficient 99% of the time, and then 1% of the time we have to, there was a fuck up and we got to fix it, rather than all the time, we always have to be making sure, like, okay, oh fuck, this guy did a fucking claim on sworn account, and I didn't do a verified denial in my answer. So that means now this guy can go to an MSJ and just win automatically because I didn't do that shit. Fuck me, I guess, right? Like, yeah, there's a lot of that shit, and I think that people are too ready to defend the adversarial nature of our system and not allow for like just some kind of common sense efficiencies to be put into place.
Okay, so you kind of want these addressed more like subject matter jurisdiction findings, where the court could just do it sua sponte and be like, "Hey, this is not proper."
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
Okay, no, I get that. I get that.
I would be surprised if there was like a lot of prejudice that came out of that, such that like it would be worse than our current system. It would genuinely surprise me, because I think in our current system there is actually a lot of prejudice that exists by not allowing courts to do that, or at least not like encouraging courts to do that. Just like, because I've done a lot of like contract enforcement and collection work that involves parties like that, and it's like, yeah, we shouldn't have won this shit, but we did because these people are fucking old and in a retirement home and the fucking retirement home didn't hand it to them, but the retirement home did accept it, and that's not our fucking problem, so we're taking their house now. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of shitty. That probably shouldn't happen, but what are you gonna do?
Maybe you just admitted that to all 15,000 listeners of this podcast.
Hey, fucking all those people. I mean, those people are all dead now, so like, it's fine.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's, I don't know. There's like, that's kind of the thing, is like whenever people talk about like the legal system, it's like, oh man, there's these like, because like I'll talk about working like the death penalty appeals and stuff like I did in the past and other shit like that, and people are like, man, that's like so crazy, that's so fucked up, blah blah blah. It's like, man, like, yes, but also like if you were a lawyer, you would see just so much other weird fucked up shit that you're like, Jesus, really? We're doing this? Okay, I guess. Like, let's go.
Well, on that note, I think we should move on to the next topic. That is, what changes would you want to make in the current legal industry?
So I'm going to do the trial one that I had an idea. This is like a legit one. Okay, and this is maybe my most radical position as far as like what I think we should change in the legal industry. I think it is. I think that if you go to trial, and I'm specifically saying for jury trials, but I'm open to this for bench trials too. I don't think that juries or any fact finder should be provided any identifying information for the witness. Race, gender, age, any of that shit. It should be presumed prejudicial. All right. If you want to introduce the fact that this person's a white man, you need to make the argument for why it's important to the case. Because I don't know how any of that matters to the jury when deciding these things. And for me, it's a thing where it's like, if you look at any statistics, it's so easy to pull out sentencing and like, you know, jury verdicts that are like biased based off of race, based off of gender, based off of age, based off all these things. And it's like, very clearly these biases exist. And I do not understand why it's important for the jury to know all that stuff about them when we know it causes that much bias. So to me,
just to clarify, you mean witnesses or defendants?
Defendants. I would even say, I would say witnesses too, but like I'm willing to just start at defendants. But I would say like I just don't know what the value is for the jury to know that information.
So would you have the defendant like in a different room or like behind a curtain, or how would you actually do that?
Yeah, they just fucking Wizard of Oz it, put them behind a curtain, give them a voice changer, and they just fucking answer the questions into the record. That's it.
Okay.
Because what are we losing by doing that? It makes.
Wait, did you say age as well, Kafka?
Yeah, fuck that. They can't know that.
So what if it's like someone who's like targeting children, like some kind of pedophilia case? You can't say the age of the children.
Well, you could make that argument. You could say, Your Honor, it's important that we know the age because of the nature of the crimes. And that would just be like an evidentiary hearing where you just go through it, or a Dalbert hearing, I guess, because it's about a witness. And you just be like, here you go. Like, this is why it's important for them to know about this stuff. And the judge would make that determination. It would say, okay, I think it is important or not. Right. I think it's a thing where it's like with technology and the way that our system works, I don't even think this is that burdensome on our legal system to do it. And I think it would lead to far more equitable outcomes for like the defendants, both in criminal and in civil cases. So like, it's just a thing to me where it's just like, I feel like this is just kind of a relic of a time in which we had like everybody had to be in the room because we didn't have the technology for it. And now it's like, we very clearly have the technology where we could do this. And I would bet so much money that this would reduce bias by like a huge amount and make things a lot fairer. And yeah, I think that's something that like if we did it, it would cost very little versus how much benefit the society would get from it.
The very second time I got called to jury duty, I walked into the courtroom and it was like a child sex trafficking case, and I knew the defendant was guilty just by looking at him. So I kind of get your point actually, but it turned out he was guilty. So sometimes maybe those intuitions are beneficial.
Yeah, but to be fair though, and that one you probably got, rejected from the jury immediately because they were like, "Has anybody here fucked a kid?" And you were like, "God damn it!" And you just like had to raise your hand.
No, real story. I got ejected from the jury because I said that I don't trust law enforcement, and they literally said, "Are you serious?"
Oh,
I said yes. And they said,
oh my god,
that is the fastest way to get off of a jury in a criminal case. In my opinion, anytime they're like, "Anybody here not trust cops?" and you're like, "I don't," and they're like, "Well, that's half our fucking witness, get the fuck out of here."
They made me sit there until like the afternoon break though, and like it was really weird. They selected like 3 mothers for the jury who like were like, "I'm very uncomfortable here in this case," and they're like, "You're on the jury." It was really funny, but I got dismissed. Like I was like juror like I don't know, 9 or 10 on the panel or whatever. They interviewed like 14 people in the box, and they're like, "Okay, you're done right away."
That's great.
It was really funny.
The one time I got jury duty, like the day of my jury duty, a natural disaster happened in my city. And I just looked out the window and it's just like, I'm pretty sure it's not happening today. And I got like an email. They're like, "Don't even worry about it. You don't need to make it up. Just be safe." And I was like, yes, I don't have to go to jury duty. But now I wish I had. It sounds like fun.
Here's what I understand, and I kind of memed about this in the past, like in the Discord and I guess in Discord. But like the fact that we have these lengthy trials for like certainly guilty people, like Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland shooter, or Darrell Brooks, the was that Waukesha, the parade trampler or whatever driver. It seems like such a waste of time and resources. Certainly, there must be a better way to just say like these people are omega fucked. Let's just kill them or execute them. I mean, I think it's such a waste of time. I understand that we have like this, we cling to this like, due process. We have to go through all the proper legal channels. To me, it just seems like such a waste in the modern day with all the technology that we have.
I actually I don't agree, but I think there is at least a kernel of truth in there in the sense that like there definitely are ways that we could make things more efficient and faster. Like, I mean, like the fact that like there's way too much federalism going on in our legal system where it's like, we know how to do, like, we have the technology to just have every single court on the same system. Why do we have every court have their own one? Why do we have all of these different local rules? Like, it doesn't make sense. And also, like, a lot of that kind of shit is, like, actually what drags the system down. I know what you're saying, but, like, also, fuck you, that's my job, and deal with it. We get to make the rules about it, and that's how we make so much money. So... like,
well, I still want you to make a lot of money, so I'm on your side.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, it's also kind of this thing where, like, having done criminal appeals, you would be surprised at how fast a lot of those trials go. Like, it's like whenever you see those really long, drawn out trials, they're definitely, in my experience, they are not the norm. Like, they fucking push those things through. I saw like, I was working on an appeal for this guy. It was like one of the first, murder cases that was being tried in my state after COVID, because they were like, we're actually going to just pause murder cases. It's like really hard to do them during COVID. So like people were getting arrested for murder and sitting in jail for like 2 or 3 years waiting for trial, and everyone was like, tough shit. But anyway, so this guy like shows up to trial. And like day of, he fires his defense counsel and is like, I'm just gonna represent myself. That trial was like, it was over 3 days, but it's because like one day they basically just like took a break for 2/3 of it. So like total the trial was maybe like 14 hours for like a very serious murder. And it's like, and they just didn't, and they were like fucking guilty. We don't give a shit. And then we get the appeal, and like. It was funny because like reading the appeal, you're like, oh, this obviously seems like a lot of problems. And the lawyer I was working with was like, no, they don't care. And I was like, well, this guy seems like he doesn't know the legal system, and like the judge probably didn't do this right. He didn't do this right. And the guy's like, yeah, but I mean, he shot a cop. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that guy didn't win on appeal. Like there was no retrial. So like. I understand your frustration, but at the same time, trust me, the criminal law system is in no way like giving them a lot of room and space to to like waste a lot of our money. They like, you know how they used to say like, oh, the death penalty costs too much money because you get like 8 appeals or whatever, right? They actually changed that. You don't get as many appeals as people said you do anymore, and like the process for it is way more streamlined and way less expensive than it used to be. At least the ones that I interacted with, it was like, nope, you get like maybe like theoretically you're going to get like at most 5 bites at the apple to prove that you're innocent, but really it's maybe like 2 of those are legitimate. All the rest of them are like filing a form that's gonna like automatically go into the rejection bin. Like you're like mailing a form into a court and the mail slot goes into her. So yeah, I mean, like, you're not wrong, but also like it's not as bad as you think it is.
Okay, I'll take it. I'm not wrong.
The one benefit of the longer trials is in the Nicholas Cruz trial, we got that incredible moment where the defense attorneys were getting death threats to their kids, and the lawyer brought it up, and the judge is like, I don't care that your kids are getting death threats. And he's like, well, Judge, how would you feel if your kids were getting death threats? And she's like, how fucking dare you bring up my kids? I can't believe you did that. Get out of my fucking my courtroom.
That was so awesome. That was, I love that. I love that one. That was good. Also, okay, but we're not, seriousness aside, fuck all that. Here's a change. They should make it where there's a third party judge or panel watching every single trial, and then at the end of it they give one side the MVC award, the most valuable counsel award, and then lawyers have to put up their win-loss ratio of MVC awards on their public state bar profiles so we can see how good of a job they're actually doing. Because winning and losing at trial actually isn't a great way to know it, right?
Yeah.
I don't want the judge to say it. I don't want the jury to do it. Fuck them, they're stupid. I want professionals. I want people that have gone to school for 9 years to show up and judge these counselors and then give me the definitive who was the better counselor here, right?
I like
State
that. I
pays
like
for it. Government has to pay for it. This is a public service. Because here's the deal. Then let's say Good Logic gets up on screen. I'm like, whoa, what's this? You have one MVC award out of 30 trials? Why would I ever listen to you?
Well, that was at the Supreme Court, though.
Yeah, he went to the Supreme Court, so.
Yeah, he was at the Supreme Court. That was his MVC.
I wish I could be impressed. I was impressed by that, because I know guys that have been there multiple times. You went once and you never went back? What is this? What are we America going to the moon here? Like,
sometimes you want to quit at the top. You don't want to be like Philip Rivers coming in at age 44 in the NFL. Like, just quit while you're ahead.
Quit while you're ahead, and then go get fucking owned by Destiny in random online debates.
Sounds like a good life.
At least he tries.
I'll run through my changes. They're pretty short. The first, I think we actually talked about before Kafka, but I think that any cases for under $50,000 should go to small claims court.
Yes, which I actually like I made a whole big impassioned plea here and like made all these like bias and shit. Your change would honestly revolutionize the legal system and make everything so much fucking better.
Wait, what is the cutoff now? Like 10,000 or something?
Depends on your jurisdiction.
Yeah, it's like 7,500 in my jurisdiction. It's terrible.
But is it generally like 10 grand or like 7,500 or?
It's pretty like there's some places where it's like $1,000 or some shit. Like there's some really low.
Jesus.
Mine is 20,000 and there is a bill to raise to 30. I am so stoked about it.
Oh, that's good.
So it rocks. Dude, just showing up to a person that never went to law school and just like basically crying into the microphone, and they're like, wow, this guy really seems like he should win. And you're like, fucking yeah. Dude, I love it.
So the second one I have, which I'm sure you'll agree to, or you would like personally, is we kick law school down to 2 years and then 1 year of experience and then the bar exam.
Dude, fuck yeah. Oh my God, yeah. I would even fuck the bar exam. You've got like, let's do 2 years law school and then like give me 3 years experiential. I'm good. That's the key to me, because I fucking don't care about the bar exam at all.
What is the current least useful year of law school?
The third,
first
by
year.
Far.
Oh my God, you guys both disagree. Wow.
No, well, what do you mean by, like, to me, the first year
I'll revise. Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, first year is the least useful because it's just like, that is the winnowing year. That is when they're like, all the people that shouldn't be here, here's the worst classes, that are the most boring, and all those people fucking leave.
Right.
The third year is also useless, but only because you are showing up, not giving a fuck the entire time and prepping for the bar. Like that was my experience with third year.
Right. That's what I was saying. The one huge thing about third year is you probably take a class on like how to actually do trials in your jurisdiction, in your state. So that's helpful, but everything else is not helpful at all.
Yeah. I literally would go every class I was in my, well, this is not fair. I did this in second year too, but every class I would just sit in the back of the room, load up fucking Steam and just play video games the whole time. I didn't give a fuck.
Oh my God.
I was like,
I was paying attention, but
no, fuck that. I was literally like in the back, like playing Civ 5 and then arguing with my teacher about antitrust. Like, no, I don't think this makes sense.
Were you guys on law review in the Federal Society?
No.
I was in one of two, and you can guess which one.
Federal Society? Oh my God.
I didn't know.
I would think we had one at my school, to be honest.
We did. It was great because I remember like wondering about like whether we did or not, and then I went to this class that like had fake depositions or something like that, and it was like teams of people doing depositions, and like I was like talking to my team like, oh, we should do this, that, or other, and then like one person on the team's like, we've probably, I'm like, why do you say that? And like look over there, and I look over, and like one of the guys has this huge Federalist Society sticker on the back of his laptop. And she just goes, that guy's a fucking idiot. And I was like, oh, okay. And we sit down, and yes, she was right. That guy was one of the biggest idiots I've ever fucking met in law school. Not the biggest, but one of. And it was just like, oh my God. And yeah, well, apparently we did have a Federal Society, real containment center for chuds for us.
I never thought of this. I don't know the answer to this, but do you think that lawyers like across the country lean more liberal or conservative?
It's kind of
like 60-40 liberal.
Yeah, but also like I'd say it's an age thing too. Like, it's rare. I don't know if I've met a young conservative lawyer in my jurisdiction. I'm trying to think about it. I would say like for every one conservative lawyer I've met that's like under the age of 40, I've met 30 or 40 non like liberal lawyers. Like I don't know if y'all saw, but I recently was in Texas for an event. And Dan Paxton randomly showed up, the Attorney General for Texas. He like randomly showed up, and I was like, "Oh, I bet everybody in this room likes this guy because he's very conservative, and I'm in Texas." And the minute he left, everybody except for this guy who was like 70 just started talking mad shit about him. Everybody was just like, "Fuck that guy! I fucking hate him. He's so fucking stupid." And so it was like, "Oh, okay, fuck." Like, man. These were very liberal people. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, I just consulted r/ask lawyers, and it says lawyers in general lean left, so we kind of answered that question.
Yeah, Reddit's a good place for that. We'll know.
All right, so I think I have two more. One is that there should be no individual rules for judges. It should just be jurisdiction-wide what the rules are.
Yes.
You don't get your own individual rules.
Yes.
And this one, actually, sorry, two more. This one might be more controversial. No more victim impact statements prior to sentencing.
Dude, okay.
Just get rid of them altogether.
We can't go into discussions about sentencing because that's going to take too long. All sentencing hearings are fucked. Just there's so much shit in there that is so fucked up and wrong. The sentencing shit like that is so stupid. It is so fucking believable that we have that shit in there, dude. It's crazy. You're right. Victim impact statements. Fuck that. Go to the press, make your statement on screen, stay out of the courtroom.
I think victim impact statements should only be allowed if they're like harsh on the defendant. Like it's so cucked to like go in there and be like, I pray for forgiveness and we want this person released and I don't care if he killed my mother. Like we all know the story of that. Was it the daughter who like tried to make amends with like her mother's killer and then he killed her like 5 years later? Yeah. Like it's just kind of cucked. So yeah, all victim impact statements should be very harsh towards the defendant.
Yeah, what that family did to that guy to make him do that, but. No, the only time I've ever heard like a really cool like thing happen at a sentencing hearing, this was when I was at the DOJ for a little bit. I was like sitting in on this sentencing hearing, and this guy goes up there and they're like, all right, so you were caught, you're pleading, you're taking a plea deal, so we're gonna read out what you've been charged with. He was caught with like cocaine in his car. He was caught with it. He was speeding. Okay. He was naked in the car. He was shooting a weapon from the car.
He had endangered crocodile eggs in his car. He was then also arrested for attempting to hunt endangered species, and also then was tied to a big drug trafficking ring. And then the judge goes, "But your contributions to help us get like arrest all these other people were so amazing that we're just going to reduce this down to like a year." And it was like the craziest rap sheet to then turn around and this guy be like state's witness to like also take down this massive Alabama fucking drug trafficking ring. It was the fucking wildest shit ever. If it's cool as fuck, they can say whatever they want at sentencing. Otherwise, yeah, fuck off.
So just a follow-up on that. When you say there's endangered eggs in the car, are you saying that the eggs were of an endangered species, or they were endangered because he was driving fast, so they might like break while he was driving?
No, he wasn't driving recklessly. They were endangered species eggs. Like they never said he was driving recklessly. They were saying driving too fast and shooting a gun at a alligator or at a no, it was at some kind of endangered bird. He was shooting at. They included that in the charges.
It was just when he had women in the car, I was kind of lost. But
yeah, and then whenever he talked, he sounded like Elvis Presley. It was the most Kafkaesque.
Oh my God.
To use a Pisco term, sentencing I've ever been to, because like they sealed the room for that shit. It was wild. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was your second to last one. What's your last one?
My last one. Do you know what baseball arbitration is?
No, I don't think so. I wonder if it's just different label for something I know.
Yeah, so it's basically they use it in the MLB. So you go to arbitration, and before the arbitration, or probably right before results made, you said client's entitled to $1 million. The owner would be like, "Hey, I think it's entitled to $500,000." And when the arbitrator makes a decision, let's say they decided $600,000, that's closer to the 500, so they award $500,000 and not the actual award the arbitrator said, to try to incentivize the parties to actually reach a settlement beforehand.
Oh, that's so stupid.
It seems pretty based, actually. I like that a lot.
I love it.
Okay,
so I think before trials.
No. Okay, good.
I think before trials, you should have to like
write down in the secret envelope
will be awarded to yours. So in a secret envelope, and then right before the trial starts, after both parties do that, they open the envelopes, and the parties, you're allowed to take the offer right now or proceed the trial. If you go to trial,
deal or no deal,
whatever the award's closer to, that party gets the award.
I mean, like I get it. I don't think it's like from the perspective of trying to encourage of a settlement. I think that's a great idea. My jurisdiction, we have something where it's like, okay, let's say like we're going to trial, and I make an offer to you, and I say, look, I think this is worth like $80,000. All right, we'll pay you 80 right now. And if you say like, fuck you, we're going to trial, and then we go to trial, and you get 80 less, you have to pay my attorney's fees, right?
Yeah,
so then that way it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. So like, yeah, they do it. That's right. And so then it's like, but like we have that at our state level, and it's so nice because like the best thing about it is whenever like you show up and you just tell the judge like pre-trial, you're like, we've tried to negotiate, we made a reasonable offer of this amount, and then the judge just like turns and looks at the other person and like, you don't think that's reasonable? You realize what's going to happen here, right? Like I've literally had judges say that like, you didn't want to take that, like you didn't think that was a good offer, and then the person's like, well, no, I think that actually we're trying to blah blah, and he's like, okay, like he just like kind of gives him like a tone, and I'm like, yes, and then like, you try to win, but then that way you've got this kind of like background thing where you're like, man, I fucking know that like at least I'm gonna get fucking paid out of this shit. So yeah, I like that one.
In federal court I think it's a rule, I want to say 68 offer, and
yeah, it's 68.
You can offer it any time. Oh, thanks, God, I appreciate it. You can offer it, I think, like 30 days after the case starts, basically. And from that point on, when you offer it, is when the fees are paid to the other party if you don't get an award up until that amount. So no one ever uses it, though. It's like rare, but
most
I don't know.
Of the federal stuff that I do, statutorily, they're like, nope, we don't do that. No, you're not allowed to do it with this one. It's like, all right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I I personally actually really hate mediation, and I hate that kind of negotiation stuff. I'm very like, here's what we're going to pay you. And then they're like, well, what if we did a little dance first? I'm like, how about I just tell you what we're going to pay you and you say yes or no, and then we can go to trial. And I know that's not what you're supposed to do, but I just really hate the dance that you have to play when you're negotiating a settlement. It triggers the fuck out of me. And I just find it to be such a waste of time and energy where it's like, we're starting at 50, you're starting at 10. And I'm like, well, okay, why don't you just pay us 30 then? And they're like, well, what if we said 12 right now? And I'm like, what if I said 48 right now? And they're like, I think we got 7 more hours of this mediation that we need to pay for. So why don't we just fucking drag this shit out? It's like, great, thanks. Love it.
No, I totally agree with you. I do like your method, the Pisco method of just saying yes or no and hoping they say yes. But I think it's an unfortunate circumstance.
My favorite thing, like, because my boss is like, one of the things I really mind about my boss is he's got like so many of these dumb tricks to just pull out that like, if it was a negotiation for like my own money and someone was saying the shit that he says to me, I would be like, no, we're gonna just end it now because this is stupid. Let's just go to trial. Where he's like, all right, we've been going back and forth, but now I'm gonna bring out some brackets. So instead of us coming down to 35, I'm gonna say, how about we bracket this at 30 to 40, and then that's where we're gonna use. And I'm like, God damn it! And then he's like, okay, we didn't get to a resolution today, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to email them directly and say, can you give us a mediator's number? And what's going to happen then is the mediator is going to tell both parties just what he thinks it's worth. And then the parties can choose to accept it or not. But that's just, we're just going to see what he says. And it's like the mediator is like a really good friend of his. So like, obviously he's going to give us a pretty fucking good deal. And like, he sends it to the mediator, and the mediator's like, oh, okay, I'll tell them that it's my idea. So he goes to the other side. He's like,
and it never helps.
What do I do with mediation? No, it doesn't.
No,
it happened one time. It happened one time in a spectacular and amazing fashion where it was like, holy shit, that's like way more than we would have ever gotten. Every other time, the other side goes, fuck you. No, we don't want a fucking mediator's number. We're going to go do discovery. And you're like, all right, fuck it. But like, it's just like all these like stupid, and then you got to like justify all of it to because the client is sitting there like watching you fucking like play with your PUD with a mediator, and they're like, this is how mediations work, and like this is what we're gonna do, and we do this, it'll force them to do that, and then they come back and none of what I just said was true. The other side just said, fuck you, we're gonna come up $1,000. You're like, god damn it. Because you just try to like put on a brave face for your client, and then the client's like, well, no, that fucking worked, and you're like, yeah, well, back to discovery, I guess. I'm gonna start billing you some more. But yeah, no, I fucking hate mediation. So yeah, honestly, I think like anything that makes people stop playing those games, I would be super happy about.
Kafka, speaking of playing games, something I ask almost every attorney on the internet, and some of them have given me pretty good advice, including Pisco, even though he won't admit it, in his young career, is about booby trapping. For the life of me, I don't understand why you can't booby trap your properties. I understand there's like, maybe you have, fire and rescue or police that need to access your property. Why can't you just tell them, this property is booby trapped and I waive all rights to your services? Especially if it's like a rural, like wooded farm property or something of that nature. Why can't we use booby traps?
Okay, here's something that like one of the few like lectures from a professor in law school that I actually like clearly remember and appreciate. It was my contracts course by this old professor who was super badass, very successful businessman in a bunch of different ways. He just like was a professor because he enjoyed it. And someone asked him about real estate once, and he goes, I don't know what it is about American law where we just think that real estate is this magical, like precious thing that we all just have to fucking, create all these special, beautiful little rules for because it's so amazing. And we've got Blackacre and blah, 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 blah. But anytime real estate is involved, it's totally different. And it's stupid and we shouldn't do it that way. There's no reason to do it that way, but we do. That's just what we do for some fucking reason. And he's right. And that's kind of where booby traps come in. Booby traps are this thing where it's like, oh, property. You can't make property unsafe for people. If you make property unsafe, people could get hurt. And like you said, it's my fucking property. I don't give a shit, right? Like if I want to own a gun, that's unsafe. People get hurt if I just own a gun, right? But I can do that. But for some reason, if I put the gun on a box and I set it so it goes off if somebody steps on a plate, all of a sudden now it's society's problem because I've made this property unsafe, right? And so like, yeah, that was like where a lot of it has come from, because like if you look at the booby trap stuff that I read, a lot about like talking about like trespass and about like how people have like a right to their home and the space and blah blah this shit. And it's just like, who cares? Literally, who fucking cares? All right, like I'm sorry, booby traps. They're like, it's just not a thing that I give a shit about. I agree with you, Gohndim. I think that it should like, I don't see why it should be illegal. Like I don't even think you should have to give notice to people. It's your property. You have a right to your property.
I love it.
Make it unsafe. You can.
And I'm sure Gilmore agrees. We can move on then.
Wait,
Gilmore
can I
wanted
have
to
one
ask
thing
them-
about property? One of my neighbors the other day drove a truck onto my lawn and dumped their leaves on our lawn. What do you think about that?
Oh my god! Did you castle doctrine him?
My wife walked out and was like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
What did they say?
They were like, "Oh, we didn't realize it was your property," and I was like,
"Oh, wait, did they remove the leaves then?"
And then they closed the door on your wife's face and I hope she left.
Basically,
like,
yeah.
Did they fix it?
Very bizarre.
Okay.
Wait,
They
did they pick up the leaves?
Out. No, they already dumped them all out. It was like the bed of a truck.
Why wouldn't you?
Crazy.
Wait, why are you being a bitch? Why didn't you make them pick them up?
It was like in the. I live in like a forest, so
who gives a
like,
shit? It's the principle of it.
Leaves. I just couldn't believe.
Oh, you just send him a bill. Yeah, you just send him the bill.
I have pretty
Have you not
extreme
done
views
that
of property.
before?
I feel like if they come onto your property, you should just be able to shoot them if they don't leave.
No, see, okay,
Well, if
here's
they
what,
don't
here's
leave,
what
of
you do.
course.
There's this really good app called Thumbtack. All right, you go on there, make an account.
Oh my god!
You can hire contractors to come and do like home repair or like anything really. You go in there, you say you live in that house, your neighbor's house, and then whenever they like show up, you just go out and meet them and point at the leaf pile and say, "I want you to get rid of that," and then but just like enter all your neighbors' information so that whenever they bill, they send the bill to that house, and then whenever
That's
your neighbor's
smart.
like, "What's this?" you go like, "Oh, that looks like a bill for someone to remove the leaves that you had," and then they're like, "Did you do this?" And you're like, "No, it looks like a contractor came over and did it, but they're billing you for it." And they're like, "Well, why would I have to pay for it?" And you're like, you remember how you put the leaves on my property? Yeah, I remember that too. So it seems like you should have to pay for it, right? Right? And you close the door in their face.
Or I could just say like the HOA hired them maybe to make it easier.
I mean, or you just take credit. Oh yeah, no, I actually asked them to come do that. I had them send you the bill because actually you should pay for that. And then if they go, I don't want to pay for it, it's like that seems like something you should take up with the contractors that did this work because they're billing you. And
Sure.
then close the door.
All right.
That's
All right. So my last topic that I have, and I think Gohndim might have more after this, but my question is it ever immoral to file a valid lawsuit?
okay. I will answer this, but we need to give some context real quick. This topic came up from today. I came into the Discord. There was a private room where Stalker and Gilmore were having a conversation, and I noticed. So I came into that conversation, just the two of them by themselves. It looked like a regular thing they did, and they were talking about a similar subject to this because Pisco and Hutch were both self-harming in a call talking about the H3 lawsuit and whether it was okay or valid for H3 to bring the lawsuit or whether it was immoral or something like that. And then I believe in the Discord, there's discussion where like it was ongoing and Stalker I think was trying to implicate like the Pixie and Destiny lawsuit or whatever and stuff like that. And people were like, oh, it's immoral because the people that are defendants in these lawsuits could be hurt. And then I was like, I don't really think it was immoral, like if it's a valid lawsuit. And then Gilmore ran to the defense of his friend Stalker and was like, whoa, I disagree. And I said, let's save it for the pod. So I think that it is possible for there to be like a moral question, right? Like I think that, let's say like the Letitia James situation, I think that it's like, even if there was a valid claim against Letitia James, it might be immoral for the president of the United States to direct that lawsuit to happen. But I think the immorality comes from a lot of other considerations. I think like overwhelmingly, like 99% of the time, it's not immoral to file a legitimate non frivolous lawsuit.
All right, so outside of your wildly incorrect series of events that led up to the conversation,
you're here. You can correct the record.
Sure.
I'm giving you the space.
All right. So what actually happened was, so I was born. I was raised by
Can you slow down? I'm taking
parents. Okay, yeah. I was raised by loving
parents. How long is this
parents.
fucking story?
I'm as brief as possible.
You started at your birth. Oh my god.
Yeah, I went to school. I went to law school. I became a lawyer, and at some point, I joined the Discord. So today, I was having a conversation about the Ethan Klein lawsuit. My argument was, I don't think it is immoral, or it was immoral for him to bring the lawsuit. And I think that everyone that says it was immoral either hates Israelis and Jewish people, which is the same thing, or doesn't care about, IP loss in the first place. I don't think there's any legitimate criticisms about Ethan Klein's lawsuit. So that was my stance on it. There was another person there who was saying it was immoral to file the lawsuit, and then that's when I brought up the Destiny-Pxie lawsuit, which I also believe. I think that one, I wouldn't say it's immoral to bring it, but I think her purpose for bringing it was not in line with the actual purpose of the law. So,
wait, is that even a valid lawsuit? I'm so confused.
I think it's an arguably valid lawsuit, depending on the interpretation of the law.
It seems like it's not a valid lawsuit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think, well, I think that with that one, again, I think if she just brought that lawsuit and there was none of the shit going on outside of it, she just filed a lawsuit against him. They went through it like a normal lawsuit. It'd be hard to say that it was immoral to do it. She might have thought she had a claim, and then she goes through it, and turns out she doesn't, and it's over. That's not really, the immorality comes from her dragging names through the mud, trying to make it as public as possible. Taking a very liberal, I'm trying to be generous here, but her management of the evidence in this case, the way that she's presenting evidence, the way that her counsel is acting regarding witnesses, a lot of that stuff is pretty very almost certainly unethical and probably immoral. Bringing the suit initially,
sloppier.
I haven't seen the video.
God.
So, yeah, it's this kind of thing where it's because also the hard part for me with the immorality thing is I don't know if there were any other arguments, because to be fair, I didn't see everything in this private conversation, but most of the stuff I saw about where they're talking about it's more, it's the defendants couldn't afford it, or the defendants were suffering because of this lawsuit. Was that what people were arguing here?
Yeah, they were saying, I think it was a two-part test. One was that if the defendant is poor, and the second is if the purpose of the lawsuit is to punish the person and not actually to vindicate some right that they have, which is both parts are stupid. But
yeah, because one, if the person's poor, then the lawsuit doesn't matter. If you're poor, then guess what? You're judgment proof. You're judgment proof. Thank you. Yeah, you're judgment proof. Who cares? If Ethan Klein showed up and sued a person with no money for $1 million, that person could literally never show up in court, never read a single filing, go on for the rest of their life and not be affected by it. Because what is he going to do? It's just a money damages thing, right? Now maybe there's he's enjoying to say a fucking I'm sorry, but even then, who gives a shit, right? Then on the other side though, it's okay, if it's if they're poor, and then the other side is I'm sorry, what was the second one? Because it's hard for me to keep it. He's so stupid. If they're sad when it happens,
so I have to double check it. Yeah, it's if the purpose of the lawsuit isn't actually to vindicate a right, but just to punish someone. But I can look it up. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I mean, it's fine. Yeah, view what you can, but it's that's also kind of stupid to me, because it's that's something that would literally never come up. You would never know that unless the person made a public statement about it, right? Ethan coming out and saying something or Pxie saying it on the stand when asked, is kind of rare, and also just not super relevant to how the legal system works. So it's because also the other side of it is them doing it quote unquote as a punishment is factored into whatever this law is that gives them a cause of action, right? The cause of action is saying this person's harmed, they're allowed to do this lawsuit to get restitution, or something like that. And if they're doing it in a way because they were hurt and they want that other person to hurt,
yes, I don't know how that's not part of the like idea of allowing someone to sue somebody else. I think that like I would be surprised if any law was passed where the legislature's like, all right, you're allowed to sue this guy, but you can't be mean to him. You can't be doing this to punish him. Okay, like I don't know when like what.
I found the actual standard.
Okay.
I found what was said here. So the standard is we have a civil lawsuit where the damages are readily apparent, not unlike some other case, and that Ethan is stretching far beyond those damages to try to inflict financial ruination to silence critics explicitly. That's the stance.
Does anyone believe that though? Because like, how long has this lawsuit been filed? Like, hasn't it been like 6 months? Casey Tron does not look any thinner or any less high on stream. Like, she's just as fat as usual. Like, I don't understand. Where was the suffering?
That was in an evidentiary hearing. That was discussed.
Has Frogon lost any weight either? Like, it's hard to tell under all those clothes, I guess. But like, what the fuck?
Well, but like, think about this too. Like, if it's that bad, like, why can't Casey Tron just settle it out? I don't.
Well,
know.
She
like,
did.
She did.
Yeah, but so she did do the thing where it's like, well, if it's so bad, then just settle it. And I said that in the Discord. It's like, if this is so tough on you, it's so horrible on things, you can just settle it out. And if the person wants too much money, great. Again, you are judgment proof at that point. You can just pay them what you have and then go fucking come for the rest because I don't have anything, right? And I understand that that's like a shitty situation, but it's also like, don't do shit that creates liability that lets people sue you for that much. Sorry, like I don't know what other advice to give a person other than like, don't blatantly violate the law and create a situation where you can be sued for all the money you own. I've never had that happen to me. It's never happened to me.
Well, you're saying, I don't understand. Are you saying don't explicitly go online to thousands of people and say, hey, I'm going to explicitly break law A, and I don't care that I'm breaking law A? Like, don't do that. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I think that might be a good way to put it because it's just like, I do not see a part here where like there's like this pity I need to have for the defendant because it's like these are all just intentional acts that they did and they are expecting some kind of protection from the liability of their actions. I don't know why we would give it to them. Also, like these people are not like destitute. Like again, like I don't know, like these people are living seems like pretty good lives. Like it doesn't seem like their lives are that bad. So it's not like they were in like some kind of like really conflicting situation where they had to steal bread to feed their family or something. It's not like they were like, oh my God, if I don't, come on and steal the intellectual property of this Jew, I'm gonna like die tomorrow. They were like acting in spiteful, shitty ways. And so then to me, I look at that and I go like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. That seems like something that you shouldn't do. And then the guy comes and sues them and they go, oh my God, this lawsuit's horrible. And it's like, yeah, that's probably why you shouldn't do that. And then they go, well, that guy's only trying to do that because he wants to punish me. And I'm like, yeah, he probably is. I agree. I agree that that's happening. Whenever you do what you did, generally the people that you do that to want to punish you. Because like, let's be clear, like if they did that to Disney, I think Disney would also sue the shit out of them for it, right? Now, maybe they wouldn't have like put pictures of Hitler in the petition. Maybe Disney people are crazy, but like I've heard about some insane fucking lawsuits that come up whenever it comes to shit like this. It's a pretty serious area if you are blatantly and maliciously doing stuff. And also, it's not like any of those people didn't have access to resources that would have told them not to do it. It's not like this is an obscure, weird area of the law where there's this like gray area. I don't know, maybe. If they had gone to, maybe I'm speaking on my ass here. I feel like if they'd gone to any lawyer that's familiar with how copyright law works, that lawyer would have said, yeah, don't do that. Do not do that. You will create liability for yourself. That is a bad idea. They chose not to do that, and now they're suffering for it.
You have to touch the stove to know it's hot, Kafka.
Yeah, and like
it's the process of being a human being. But in summary, I just want to say that I think we can all agree that the Pxie lawsuit is immoral and invalid, and she might be an invalid. So, yeah, it's a tough case all around.
I think so. I mean, one thing, like I've been coming down hard on these other people. To be clear, I find Ethan Klein to be just like really annoying and very like kind of
petty and small person that I don't really like at all.
Yeah, he got kind of fat for a while too, and he's got these weird twitches and stuff. Like I can't remember, he's just got some kind of disease, is it Parkinson's or something?
And also all of the weird pedophile joke stuff that he did for a long time was really unsettling for me. And I certainly find his filing to be really distasteful, and a lot of the actions really distasteful. But like that doesn't really inform anything about whether or not I think his filing was like moral or immoral. So like,
we'll let the courts decide. Kafka, I got some questions for you and Gilmore here, and then we have some audience questions. We're going to kind of shoot through these fairly quickly, so short responses from you both, short and snappy. Number one, would it be legal or ethical to shoot law enforcement who are entering your home on a no-knock warrant if you don't know they're law enforcement at the time you shoot them?
It depends on the jurisdiction, but some jurisdictions allow that. They say it's legal.
So if a law enforcement breaks into my home and I don't know they're law enforcement, it's a no-knock warrant, and they walk booby traps, and I'm shooting them with whatever firearms I allegedly lost in like a boating accident, I would be off scot-free, you think?
I don't know your jurisdiction.
I'm not sure what the laws are in Pittsburgh, so I can't really answer that.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't speak to that one. I know in my jurisdiction, I believe everything would have been okay there, other than the booby traps.
Okay, gotcha. This is a quite answer first because he's kind of a pussy with some of these things. Gilmore, what do you think is the most immoral and unethical thing you can do that is still legal?
That, like, I personally, or just any person?
Well, any person, yeah.
If you make it personal, though, it does make it a little more fun.
I would say if you have like a family and kids, probably like abandoning your family.
Damn it, you stole mine.
That's the most that's probably a pretty good one. Yeah, I get it.
What's the most amoral thing I could do that's still legal? And I'm not gonna steal it because that was a good answer, but I guess.
It was hard for me to even think of an answer to this question because all the things I want to think of are clearly illegal. I don't know. I got to fuck up mine.
Yeah, right. That's the hard part, right? Is that we've made so many cool immoral things illegal now that there's just not.
Yeah, society's gone too far.
So one thing that you could do that's like immoral, but I guess no, because it's technically fraud.
I was gonna say my other choice was streaming the Hassan nuke, but that's obviously a lawful. So I guess you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, we can wait till the lawsuits are done. We could, it might turn out to been legal, but so
that's probably a good one. Maybe a very immoral thing is being like Bill Belichick and like having sex with a 21-year-old. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that cheating on your wife is like, or abandoning your family. Those are the obvious ones because like those are like the most egregious thing you can do, and it like feels like it should be illegal, but it's not. Let's see. No, it's hard to think of other stuff other than like you just like like as we saw that one lady where you're just like screaming slurs into people's faces. And stuff like that.
Oh, the Shiloh Hendrix method. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. That's
how you raise money, Kafka. That's not illegal.
Yeah, no, it's not illegal. It's just immoral, right?
That's how you raise money in this country now. Very sad.
You know what? Okay, here's this. It's starting a cult. Starting and leading a cult. It's not illegal to do that, but it is.
I think that'd be so much fun. Actually, I think I might do that in my later phases of life. Sure. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, I think as long as you don't get to. Let's see. As long as you're not committing fraud, you don't actually. If you don't commit assault or that in it, you just only do like psychological trauma and stuff like that. And you don't steal their money; they donate their money to you. Then yeah, I'd say like a cult abuses its members.
Just a quick yes for you, Kafka. Many people have said that Trump should have been hanged for January 6th. Do you agree that Hillary Clinton should be hanged for Benghazi?
Not hanged.
But definitely like some congressional panels and whatnot where she admits of responsibility.
You asked me for a yes or no, so I'm saying
no. Okay. Gilmore, given the statistics that we all know and don't have to bring up, do you think gay couples should be legally allowed to adopt kids?
I actually listened to a whole podcast about this months ago with a person who was a very strong advocate for getting rid of any adoptions for gay couples, who was debating someone who was a gay man with 2 children he adopted. I feel like his argument's a little bit better, so I think it should not be banned.
Oh my God.
What do you think about? Do you think that adoption? Do you think that we should have common law adoptions? Do you think that should be a thing?
What does that mean?
So, like it's like like a common law marriage where it's just like, okay, like this kid has lived with me for this amount of time. I provide everything for this kid. This kid's parents are not in their lives anymore. We just have not done the formal process of adopting the child. Do you think that we should do that in the parental rights of the biological parents and just have a common law adoption system?
So like I've hung out with Gohndim so much that I'm officially his father, like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I've been trying to make that happen because you're like a dink right now, Gilmore, and I want money from you. Like, why are you not buying me Steam gifts? Like, it's actually unbelievable. You have no kids. All you have is like a dog that sounds like he's dying every time he breathes. You can't give me like a fucking Steam game.
Whoa, yeah. Don't
fucking almost Christmas.
That's off limits. Don't talk about my dog like that. But secondly,
bro, Kafka. One time I'm on a stream with Gilmore and I hear this noise coming through the mic. It's like a fucking tractor. I was like, Gilmore, is someone dying? He's like, it's my dog breathing.
Don't you dare talk to her about that. Like, talk to her about it like that.
It was terrible. Like, it was actually awful.
Awesome.
He hears you saying this, by the way.
This is a question for both of you. And Gilmore, I hope you answer first. What are some crimes you guys have done but never got caught doing?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead on this one, Gilmore.
Stole Wi-Fi I wasn't entitled to use.
Oh my God.
Oh wow, what a good crime.
That's way worse than mine. Let's see. What's a crime I want to admit to here?
Surely you've stolen something.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of like little petty theft stuff. I had a shoplifting phase when I was a teen.
Oh my God.
But I would like, for me, the way that I would always do it is I would like be at like a Target or a Walmart, and I would have like small item, but I'd be buying like 4 or 5 other things. I would just like look like I scanned it, but I didn't want that kind of thing. But I never like, whenever if the business was small enough, I would like, people own this. I don't want to hurt them. If it's shareholders, I don't care. I'll do that. Cardi 2 wasn't in effect, so I didn't. Or Card wasn't. Yeah, the Cardi law wasn't in effect, so that didn't really count. But yeah, no, I mean that's the most I'll say.
Okay, we'll go with that one. This is a more serious question, or maybe it won't come off as serious, but it's something that I'm generally perplexed about. So, did you guys see the video of that small personal aircraft that landed on a Florida highway and smashed a car? Are you guys familiar with that incident?
That was dope. That was fucking crazy.
Yes. So there was like an emergency landing. I think the plane lost full engine power or whatever it was, and it like smashed this fucking car on this Florida highway. I'm pretty sure it didn't seem like the visibility was very good, like low light conditions too, like so either dusk or before a dawn, I guess. I guess I'm wondering, like, should that person be charged with something if they injured the person in that car? And like, why do we just let these planes like land on emergency highways like so frequently? Like, I feel like I see a video every couple days where like some plane is putting in risk, multiple other passengers at no fault of their own. Like, it seems so retarded to me.
Well, unfortunately, the highway system in America was designed to be emergency runways. So like, that is like the function of them. You mean you're saying charge, like criminally charge this person?
I mean, this guy literally smashed this person's vehicle. I actually didn't see if that guy got injured, but like, imagine that guy gets injured. Why shouldn't the plane, the pilot get charged with something?
I mean,
doesn't it just seem insane to you that you can be driving on a highway and then a private plane like
it does? I mean, it's more just,
and you might die and you might lose your children.
Sure, I mean, this is more of a damages question than a. I don't know what him going to jail does for me. I want to pay me a bunch of money for sure. But like,
all right, so I just watched it for the first time. That is very crazy. I think that it probably wouldn't be criminal charges, especially if they were told to land on the highway. But I think 100% gigantic lawsuit against the airline, obviously.
The airline? What do you mean? Isn't this like a private craft?
It looked like a pretty big plane, no?
Bro, I think Gilmore might be high.
This is I thought it was a prop plane.
I thought so, yeah. Okay, we have a couple listener questions, just 3 here, so we'll be pretty quick here, and then we'll wrap up. This is from Quantitative Freezing.
Question.
Yeah, these are listener questions, yeah.
How do we have listeners? I thought this was.
Oh, they ask in the mailbag channel before the podcast. We advertise and say, "Hey, we got the great Kafka coming on the show. Do you have any questions for him?" And we have 3 questions.
Well, they're also in your house right now listening to you talk. So,
oh, okay, fair.
Yeah,
all of our bunker guests actually work for the NSA. So this is for Kafka. If you
NSA
could choose
only podcast, but they have to find it.
So from QF, if you could choose, who would you prefer to buy Warner Brothers? Discovery, Comcast, Netflix, or Paramount? Are there antitrust issues?
Let's see. It's funny because, like, honestly, I used to love the Discovery Channel, but like I feel like probably I wouldn't love it anymore.
Like back when it had Gold Rush on it, like seasons 1 through 3. Oh my god,
dude, yeah, no, 100. But like, you know what? I'd actually probably pick Paramount because there are some things on Paramount Plus I want to watch, but I don't want to get Paramount Plus. But if they had the Warner Brothers catalog in Paramount Plus, I think that might push over the edge where it's worth it to actually get that. As far as like antitrust issues, hard question because I don't really think that there would be a monopoly. I don't think that the resulting company would have monopoly power such that we would need to worry about antitrust. I simply don't think that they would have a market share size that would be worrisome. Even the Warner Brothers Netflix merger, I think there maybe is a question around streaming services as far as like streaming TV shows and movies. There could be a question about market share. I don't know about monopoly power though. I think Prime is too large. I think that Peacock existing, Hulu existing, all these things, they're all too large for there to be a true antitrust question here.
Thank you for that. This is from Deegs. He says, "Can you ask Kafka why he is a conservative?" Oh my god.
Good question.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, people on the left are just getting away with too much. Like, when does it end? You know, things are pretty good right now. All right, like my life's not that bad. Like,
yeah, we haven't had a recession since like 2007, 2008. The stock market's all-time highs. Silver's at all highs. Like, we just don't need more taxes. Like, we need to gut the welfare state. I mean, it's pretty easy to be conservative.
Poor. Yeah. I grew up poor. Okay. My house, my childhood home, under 3,000 square feet. We had like what? 3 cars. We went on, I don't know, 4 vacations a year, once a quarter. Okay, it's kind of silly. Okay, my parents only paid for my undergraduate degree. All right, I paid out of my own pocket for my law degree. You know, I don't understand why people are trying to sit here and change things when things are already fine, right? So that's why I'm conservative.
That makes sense. I think the last question is actually very relevant and a good one to end on. This is from Flexer, our head mod in our community. He says, "Will Gohndim ever get his day in e-court regarding the Discord ban?"
I'm totally down. I would love to have you and Sharpie in e-court. I think a lot of people would. You know, I think that. I think the pre-trial for that would be really fun. I'd really love to see some position statements and evidentiary stuff. You know, and you know what's funny is actually we could even make it its own specific ban appeal e-court, right? You know, we do a ban appeals thing on there where we just like run through DGG appeals. Let's do a Discord appeal. Let's get Gohndim in there. Have Sharpie show up and tell us why, give me because we like to see whenever we do those, we say, okay, what was the event? What happened? Why did we ban this person? Show us. And we're going to evaluate whether or not we think there's an abuse of discretion here or not. I'd love it. Let's do it.
I have a really important follow-up on that, Gohndim. Who would you hire as your attorney for the case?
Oh, that's a good question.
Probably Merle's. We've had a little bit of a dissension over the last 6 months, but I think he would step back in just for this case because it's such a pressing case both for Merle's and myself and all the Crimsons. What I would say though is I think if we did like an e-court regarding the Discord ban, like I think just the evidentiary hearing or like all the character testimony and like I have so much evidence, it's unreal, Kafka. Like it's actually crazy. I archive everything.
I would welcome it. Okay, if that was the last one, I have a question for Gilmore. In that I genuinely don't know why this happens to me, and I want your opinion on this. Okay, I feel like whenever I talk to people on the internet, and it happens a lot with lawyers on the more conservative leaning side, I will phrase things as questions and try to discuss things with them, and they will bite my fucking head off. Like, I think you saw it last night with Mirror, where I was like, genuinely, like, if you go back and look at my messages in that chat, I was genuinely asking questions like, I don't understand this. This is what it looks like. And then he was like, fuck you. And I was like, okay, like, you seem like you know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to figure it out, dude. And he was like, you are a fucking idiot. And I was like, all right.
Wait, did you say Mirror?
Yeah, Mirror. Our very own Mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, which, like, I don't dislike him. He's fine. It's just like he just like came across so aggressive there for some reason. I was like, I'm genuinely just trying to figure this the fuck out. I don't know what we're talking about here.
Well, Kafka, just for reference, maybe this will change your opinion about using the Mirror lash out as like evidence towards this. But his name now is Mirror 1414. It used to be Mirror 1488. So like it's not like you're talking to the sharpest tack.
I mean, I am like a flaw of mine is I have way too much benefit of the doubt for people and have way too much good faith for other people. But it was like okay, so today, Gilmore, we discussed this same thing, and it was about the Kilmore Abreu Garcia stuff. And what was funny is it's like, oh, okay, there's this issue with the order. The order doesn't contain the actual removal order. It doesn't make any sense. And last night, when we were talking about it with Mirror, I was like, I don't understand how we can go back and fix it, because there's these rules that prevent you from going back 6 years later as one of the two parties and asking for them to change it. You can't even ask them to change it. You're not allowed to. Okay. But turns out there's a way that the court can just do it on their own, and the court can. Like we talked about the state Gilmore. But what's funny is like last night, Mirror was like castigating me for even suggesting that they couldn't change it, but then didn't know about the court ability to change it, but was acting like he knew that the whole time. And like, was I out of pocket? Was I being stupid?
Yeah. I'll tell you exactly what happened here. So specifically with Mirror, who is a good friend of mine, the issue is when you talk about a topic that he's very well versed on and act like an authority. I'm not saying that you are acting like authority, but say something with authority, like this is the situation and it's incorrect. You're dead meat. He's gonna fucking roll over you. He does the same thing with Lactoid also previously. So that's really what happened there.
I fair enough. Because again, it was me just going like I even like I said it like very early on. I was like, I really don't know about this stuff. I'm trying to understand it. And he was like, you're just like, what the fuck are you talking? And I was like, all right.
No, that's just standard practice. Like what, for example, name a topic you're like very, very knowledgeable in. Name like any topic. It doesn't have to be law, like anything.
Sure. Like, I know a lot about Warhammer 40K, right?
Okay. Imagine if I was like we're talking about Warhammer 40K, and I was like, actually, it was like Warhammer 39K, but then the second creator came over and just added one at the end, and that's how it came up with Warhammer 40K. Like, I just like said that was the case.
Sure. And like, and that's the thing is like, for me, like, if anybody has interacted with me very long on the internet, again, I'm totally fine with admitting I'm wrong. I just need you to point out how I'm wrong. That's all I need. If you just like, well, and he did it. He did at one point. He did give me like, no, this isn't what this is. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. I see it now. Didn't help, but like, it's just very funny because like that. I only bring him up because that was like the most recent thing. And again, I don't really have a problem with Mirror. Actually, I have seen him in other scenarios. Like, oh, that's fine. But I've had this happen like multiple times where like I'll just like run into lawyers on the internet and I'll just like say. Like I'll ask a genuine question or like we'll be like having an argument and I might not understand something, so I'm like trying to figure it out, and they just like freak the fuck out on me because like I'm like just trying to have a conversation. Do you have this experience at all, or is this just like I'm just running into a lot of shitty people?
I'm not really sure if I've experienced that directly. I feel like I'm a very laid back person myself, which I think you are as well. So I think I'm just very hesitant to like assert anything with authority at all. But yeah, I don't know.
And that's the thing is like I think it's very fair to say like I definitely can come across like I'm asserting something authoritatively, but it's more like I'm just trying to like lay things out logically. Like if this, then this, right? And then the other person is like, why the fuck would you ever say that to me? I'm like, Can you just correct me?
Well, maybe we can hash this all out during our lawyer roundtable we plan to do in the future.
That's actually true. Lawyer roundtable in January with only the brightest legal minds on Twitch and YouTube. Oh my god.
I'm down. I'm totally down.
What I'm concerned about, though, in Gilmore's initial response to you, Kafka, is he literally compared you to Lactoid of all people, and then he just said that he gets along with everyone, which is kind of concerning too, because like he got along really well with like Jewstalker and all the people like in his server who were trying to like, destroy Destiny, and then you went on the line for him, Kafka. It was very sad.
Gohndim, don't worry. There's an e-court about Gilmore coming too. And all of this
there should be like how he's two-sided and like he hides behind his like I'm just a really nice guy. He told me one time, Kafka, this is not even a meme, and Gilmore will probably deny this though. He's like, I'm not really into drama. Meanwhile, he's spending 6 hours a day in the Jewstalker Discord like arguing about the lawsuit. It's very sad.
It's we all can see through him. I mean, there's a reason why Pisco didn't know who.
Do you have a response?
Him.
My response is that I have been absolutely clean for about 3 weeks now. I got my 3-week coin the other day, and I'm continuing to stay clean from here on out. So that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, I guess pat on the back, whatever. But I mean, Gohndim, I think you should take this to heart. When I brought up that I was coming on this podcast, Pisco was like, "Oh, Gohndim, like from my." Discord he used to be in my Discord. It's like, oh yes, that guy. We talked about you for a little bit. Zero comment about Gilmore. So I think.
Oh my god.
I didn't really. I made sure I said Gilmore's name, and everything like that. It's like.
I do take it to heart. Shout out to Pisco.
Yeah, in fairness to me, my only interaction with Pisco is we played Marvel Rivals once, like 5 months ago, and that's about it. So.
Oh, I mean, okay.
When Overwatch 2 first came out, this little Pisco lore, and then we'll wrap it up here. We all started playing like as a 5-stack, and Pisco liked to play damage, and he got the lowest rank in the entire game. and he told everyone that it was a Blizzard glitch. It was so funny. He actually shouldn't have been the lowest rank. He was actually a pretty good player, but he actually got the lowest rank in the game. Oh my god.
And just in case Pisco's listening to this, I just want to confirm for the record, and Kafka and I would discuss this off the record before we started today, is that we both agree with Mullally about originalism and about common sense and all that stuff. So just for the record.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, it's kind of one of those things where like, I might not like the guy, but I can't disagree with him. I mean, it's just, he lays it out so clearly, and I just, like, what arguments are there against it? I can't think of any. I haven't seen any put against him that really work, But yeah, I mean, maybe Pisco can figure out how it works one day, and then he'll kind of see the error of his ways.
Kafka, this is the point of the show when you're on other people's platforms that we usually beg you to shout out the bunker in the G&G podcast. Obviously, you don't have to do that here, but any final things, any shout outs you want to do, any mentions, hit us with it.
Yeah, so I write and I help edit and organize the Pragmatic Papers. It's a newsletter that we do. It's mostly DGG facing, but it's for anybody that wants to just kind of, read some, it's like left leaning, but kind of political action focused, like really trying to fight disinformation and kind of people's apathy with politics nowadays, and just trying to show either important stuff or like kind of, I wouldn't say like optimistic, but just kind of like more focused on action rather than just bitching about the current political system. I really recommend everybody go check us out at thepragmaticpapers.com. Also, I have a show with Zip. We do Zipzip 45. We do the e-court, and that includes like kind of courtroom style debates. Gilmore's done one with us. It was a great first episode. And we also do ban appeals, which is kind of like a fun traffic court style look at different bans that happen in the DGG community. We're trying to get other communities to send us some bans so we can do theirs too. But yeah, that's something. We don't have a regular thing right now. Going into next year, we're probably going to try to make it weekly. Our schedules are kind of lining up a little better, where we're probably going to make it where every week we do like we'll always have at least ban appeals every week, and then if there's a debate we can put in there, we'll put it with it. So whenever that happens, we'd love it if people come watch it. We just do it on Zip's channel for now. And then yeah, otherwise, not a lot of other shout outs. I don't think anybody else asked me to shout anything out since I'm here.
Well, perfect. We'll link to those things in the show notes. We greatly appreciate your time here, and you're welcome back anytime, and especially for the lawyer roundtable that we're actually going to try to line up, hopefully in January. Gilmore, any closing?
That's all. Thank you, Kafka, for being with us. Also want to add to the record that I was not only on the debate show that you guys do, but I was also on the ban appeals show. So
yes,
you did
you did a great job in the ban appeals. Mr. Mooten has claimed he wants to be the regular on ban appeals with us, but keeps making excuses. Since we're putting things on the record, just want to say, I see you, Mr. Mooten. I see what you're doing. You came in. You think Buddy of the Year is yours, all right? I'm not saying it's mine. I'm just saying it's really weird that, it's 3 months to the end of the year. All of a sudden, Mr. Mooten shows up, basically puts a gun to Destiny's head, makes him start playing video game streams, and now everybody's talking about him for Buddy of the Year. I don't know. I was in the trenches. I was there. I was showing up once a week for like 6 months while this dude was like doomering out every day on stream. Okay, nobody would fucking touch this guy because of this sex lawsuit, all right? I was there. Okay, Mr. Mooten, I see you. I see what you're doing, but I would absolutely love to have you weekly come on and do some ban appeals with us. So, let's try to figure that schedule shit out.
Okay, you got fuck you, Mooten. Fuck you.
No, I mean, it's a little bit both. But both of y'all, hey guys, I really appreciate you inviting me on the show. I really don't like being pushy about going on other people's stuff. So you guys asked me to come on was really great because I really like you both, and I was like, oh man, this seems like a cool podcast. It'd be cool to go on sometime. So super appreciate the invite. To come on.
Oh, you're seriously welcome back. Almost anytime. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, adios, guys.